Okay,
Ready?
thank you. Okay, well, today I'm JP Prego with hair. So, not feeling well. I had to say that.
Wow.
Facilities Committee meeting on September 25th. So members Keith and myself and JP, I said, is not feeling well. I'd like to get an approval of the August 28th meeting minutes.
Motion?
Second. Any discussion?
Nope.
No, me neither. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. Thank you. All right, old business. Hopefully it's almost not old business anymore.
Right.
Softball field drainage project update.
We are complete.
Yay!
Yes,
Wow.
we are finally
Yay.
complete. 25 days in.
Wonderful.
So you're saying it's dry over there today?
Yeah, right? First time ever.
You know what, me and Dave was on the field this morning, that's the first thing we said.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, if it's complete, it's complete.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah, Rob will be out next week, me and him will walk it down one more time. He will give the final approval on it, and then we'll all have copies of everything being completed and
Yay.
move along with the final payment.
Perfect. Wonderful. So is there an MPDES permit we'll have to get rid of for that one too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'll
just
take-
checking.
Yeah, Rob is taking care of all of that. He's great.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's great.
Excellent.
He's definitely, he's our, basically our GC over there,
Okay.
watching over the project.
Barry Isaac.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
excellent. Excellent. All right.
The high school, duct work is completed.
Yes. Oh,
So
great.
that's all completed over there at the, tech,
Okay.
for the duct work that they had and also for the blower. So everything is completed over there. The Marlboro, boiler will be completed. The target date is at the end of September, which is next week.
Mhm.
They're just doing the wiring, all the leaks were checked, everything was flush. So we're all good there. It's just last minute wiring, installation, a little bit of stuff like that. For the high school painting senior, parking space, they're gonna follow back with us in October.
Okay.
I spoke to them today briefly, little Zoom meeting, they still know who's gonna be cleaning stuff up.
Okay.
So if worst case scenario, she said this might be something that we bring up again next year, more so for this year, there will be such short notice and.
And it's
the
going to be
different
winter
things.
soon.
Yes, yes, and they're afraid that they're not gonna clean like they
Yeah.
said that they were, so.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of feedback on that. The 42-inch jersey shaped LED barricades, I apologize. We're still in motion of talking about that, making a decision on where we want to go about that. Our quotes for our trees,
Those are, we were talking about, I mean, besides the cost of only bringing in two, which is like,
1,500.
well, it was, yeah, but the shipping was 3 times the cost of one.
Yes.
Oh.
So anyway, the conversation more was, we're in the middle of doing the Ballard, we have the grant that's tied to the Ballard, so Mr. Howard met with the architect, and we're waiting to get that report back on Ballards across the district.
Okay.
And when we take a look at that, along with the risk vulnerability surveys to see if there's other Jersey-type barriers, the movable ones that are water-filled, that will be more cost-effective than buying 2 and literally paying for 7 for the cost because of shipping. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with not having it at this point. We're just trying to move in that direction, specifically that, and specifically for the high school in the back of there. So.
Yep, makes sense. Makes sense.
The quotes for the trees we got in Red Hill, we was able to get 2 quotes. Thank you for Keith. He sent me a gentleman that came out. He came out $600 cheaper than everybody else.
Nice.
So that's for the Red Hill quotes on 7th Street with a couple of dead trees that we had. High school basketball gym floor update. We was able to fix the scratch that they made by putting up the new backboards.
Oh, great.
So that was fixed over the week. So matter of fact, that was fixed on Tuesday.
Wonderful.
It looks better.
They do like epoxy, fill it in. Or...
Yep, exactly. It's smoother. So, and I understood what Bobby was talking about. He was a little concerned about the little indent. So we just wanted to make sure, so that's done.
Excellent.
So, yeah. The elementary fence request, I was able to get, as Marlboro, playground. Marlboro also split rail fence came in at $19.77. And then I'm waiting on a 4 or 5 fence, quote, due to the fact we was out there Wednesday we were out there. and we walked that down to 4 or 5. So I'll have a quote on that hopefully by the middle of the week. And this is the same company who gave us the quote to do fences from Marlboro. So he's gonna, he said once he gives me the third quote, then we're gonna talk again. And if this is something that we decide to go with, he can adjust the numbers. Because we're giving him 3 instead of just 1, if that's something that we're looking to go with in the future. Especially with
Defer to Drew on that in terms of the process, if the co-stars, if it's bidding.
Yeah.
Because even if it's 3 projects, it's still one, there could be one larger bid,
Yes.
follow those thresholds.
So maybe they're at CoStar's vendor, that's something you can ask them if they have CoStar's contract.
I believe he is, because he does all of the, he does a lot of fencing for schools.
Okay.
But I'll double check on that.
Yeah.
And I'll get that information, sir. Feasible study, standing discussion item, something that me and Dr. Allen was talking about. I'm developing a timeline in October for, my goal is to get my capital projects, like I was telling Drew, my capital projects and everything on paper. By no later than the end of October, so we can start that conversation and process. And the biggest thing is gonna be material. What we decide to do, when we decide to do it, how fast we can get them in, so we can get them out for the summer. So the earlier I get my end done, I can present to you guys, and we can move from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we continue to have this on here
Yes.
every month to know what we're doing, because this can get away from us quickly in terms of the recent feasibility study and some financial projections, and I think this to be very transparent. I know there's concerns about the money and the money that's tied up in the middle school and the bond issues and all those other things that, they presented a nice report. They said we've got some nice space, but they did point out some issues specifically at the high school. I think we're all in agreement. I mean, we could put some tremendous piece of work in there, but you don't see that when you walk down the hallway.
I
But there's
know.
definitely some challenges academically. There's some concerns, right, with science classrooms and those things that you've heard about. So, I want to keep the conversation going and not push too hard, but just be that general reminder, like there's some work in there and how much, and we know that it's going to come down to how much the community will tolerate, or what's a reasonable recommendation.
Yep.
We have a local school district that's going through a huge renovation, and they're making decisions on going out to referendum. I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying there's different approaches to address different things.
Right.
And I appreciate what they're doing, I'm watching them from afar, and they're doing a nice job of bringing community members in on tours, and just, they're creating the awareness.
What we did state.
That's what
They're
we
creating-
didn't, that's what we didn't
They're
do.
creating the awareness there, when people walk through, they're like, wow, okay, like, now we see what you're saying, it's not just this or that, so
yeah.
I think that's a part of the overall strategy, for lack of a better term. It's information, it's communication, it's opportunity, so, not that I think anything's expected off that feasibility study specifically, this year, but I think that's the mantra, is that long-term plan. Hopefully from the board, you're like, good, I'm glad you're planning multiple years and thinking about that. And I think, as I've said to Mr. Howard, we know Mike Kelly did a fantastic job from there, but I want to make sure that the suggestions that are in there fit us, they fit what we're trying to get accomplished, and from there.
So
So,
we also had meetings with both of the contract, we had a meeting with God over the week, and also had a meeting with KCB last week.
Okay.
So I got all the information, I saw what Doug did and what was completed, and now I'm just getting all that together, putting that in the timeline to where, how we want to attack and continue on with the visa and study.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'll be bringing to the table on October 23rd.
Believe
on our next board
me,
meeting.
we know there's plenty.
yes,
We
yes.
know there's plenty of things to
But a
do.
lot was done. A lot was done. Breaking things down in different categories, from the pool to the kitchen and different things like that. Now, that stuff hasn't been done, but a lot of other things internally has been done.
Yep.
The boilers, there's different things in that aspect, as the lighting, energy savings there, different things in that aspect. So we're just going to keep, hopefully move forward with that, to what they're suggesting and what is incorporated into the study. For new business, the middle school fire door controller is back. And here is the picture of the middle door fire controller. So what you see there, let me step up here real quick. What you see there is a controller. That controller controls the fire door for the middle school. It burnt out. So I'm waiting for the
It burned down.
Yes, it totally burnt out. So I'm waiting for the contractor to let me know if that's under warranty or not.
Okay.
Do you know why, Craig? Why did it fry?
It's just one of those things, Ms. P, when it comes to anytime dealing with electronics. So we're unable to close this fire door, so God forbid if a fire happens in the middle school, in the back area where the gym or back where the kitchen is at. This door will automatically close itself. They keep smoke and flames from entering the other side of the building, more so towards the admin and just the whole other side of the building. Now we have to close this door manually. So that's what's happening, and this is the controller that's bad on. So once again, he didn't know if it was still under warranty or not. It should be a 10-year warranty for this, between the 5 and 10-year warranty. So I will find out hopefully by the middle of this week. I'm going to shoot him out another email. I was hoping to get an answer today, but he doesn't know the answer.
Does everyone know where that is? Like,
He's
if you
doing
look
the
at the picture
investigation.
that has
Yeah.
the gentleman standing there, his back is to the hallway going towards the library. The library classroom's right around the corner there.
Okay.
And where we are sitting towards him, we are sitting at the gym doors, looking there, and if we go that way, we head right out the main entrance.
Okay.
So this closes off the academic wing literally from right from the beginning of the gym down. So gym and auditorium
Yeah.
are kind of this way, so it comes right across.
Okay.
I've only seen it close one time when we manually closed it, when we had prom there at one time with COVID, to kind of keep everything inside, nothing up that way, but
I'm also going to get a second opinion from RJ Electric, because when I opened that up and looked at it internally, it's a board inside there. So I wonder if it's just the board itself. And RJ Electric be able to determine that for me, because they're going to come plug up some things, do some tests, and just run through it.
Check and see what's wrong with it. Okay.
Just give me a second eyes on it, because for something that to burn out like the way it did, it shouldn't have. That's not something that we use on a daily basis. That's not something that we even mess with at all.
Yeah,
So for that,
exactly.
that's telling me that's a manufacturer thing.
Right, exactly.
So that's what I'm gonna,
How many other doors do we have like that in that building?
I believe is one downstairs, and I believe is one upstairs as well,
Okay.
on the second floor as well. So that's what
I'm not aware of it.
I'm gonna get some more information on that, because that's not gonna be an easy sell for me. Because that's a $7,000 job that has to be replaced, because it's a computer
Yeah,
system.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're getting voltage spikes in there or anything.
Exactly.
It's not heavy use or anything like that, so, yeah.
I'm
I
on
think
it,
manufacturer defect.
definitely, and I believe that's what it is. And the gentleman I was on the phone with agreed. He said that shouldn't happen. That's
Right.
not something we use on a daily basis,
Exactly.
so.
Yeah, you can see if you're opening and shutting it
Exactly.
1,000 times a
Like
day.
curtain or anything like that. He
Mhm.
said that shouldn't be, he said that's a defect. So he just gotta speak to a couple of people and get back to me.
Okay,
So hopefully I have something by the middle of the week on that one.
okay.
For the second thing for new business, we have I'll put the 4 or 5 garage doors, openers, and I'll show you. These are the garage doors at the 4 and 5, they're just very old and beat up. Let me get back up here. The reason why for the jack opener.
You can bring your laptop with you if you want.
I like to exercise. For this particular door right here, we keep our tractor in there, all our good stuff for all our fills that we do out there. We do our snow removal, everything is in this particular gate right here. Now, in order for our guys to come in and out, they have to get out and manually open it up. To where, God forbid, ice, snow, anything like that, if it's not hooked on correctly, they'll lose that door and that door slammed down on them, which has happened a few times, because it's old. It's just the old,
That's
it's something that's been there for a long
Uh-huh.
time.
Yeah, that's what I
Uses
thought.
down there.
This door has been hit several times by contractors, and we're unable to lock this door now. So what I did was I moved everything from here and moved it over here, because there is a wall here.
Okay.
So we're able to, to keep some of it's older equipment, it's nothing that's gonna cost us or we lose money on, but it's just something that eventually, I brought it to you guys' attention, because it's something eventually that we wanna look to get replaced.
That door on the right's gotta be replaced.
What is the
I've
jack
down there a
shaft?
lot. That's
The
crazy.
jack shaft is what it is,
Is what you call that?
it actually opens up the doors, it's a garage opener. Not a fancy name for a garage opener, sir.
I didn't know that either.
That's a new one on me.
Yeah. So that's at the 4 and
Do we
5.
have any idea how old that pole barn is? That was built, what, in the 90s maybe?
From what I hear, it's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's what, from what I hear. That's
That makes
that's
sense.
something else that's on the later agenda, especially when it comes to how we manage our salt, to where we keep our salt at, in that open area. It used to be like a barn, but that's one of our guys got hurt on there last year from removing the tarp back, slipped on it, Brian, and he was out for 3 months, I believe Brian was. Yes, so,
So you have vendors coming out, giving you prices for that already?
yeah. I already got 2 prices, I want to get a 3rd one. Yeah, I already got 2, so I want to get a 3rd one.
Front Valley Lock and Door?
I'm trying to buy like a door. That's my first vendor out there.
They're
Yeah, they're great.
local, they're
They're
very
great.
good,
Yeah.
organic, so.
They're great. They're absolutely great.
As I've shared with Mr. Howard, if we're finding new things, we have to also go back to Mr. Kenwood's budget that was prepared
Yep.
Right.
to make sure that there may be things that are in the budget that were planned to be, that this may take priority. Obviously, health and safety, but that wise, so we've got to work within the numbers and parameters. If there's something that's glaring that we've got to find, it's a different conversation, but
Yep.
we've got to play within
Drew,
those.
keep them in line.
Yes, he does. Me and Drew talk at least, what, several times a day? Several times a day, yes, he definitely does. And Dr. Allen does as well. Now, the next item is the doors. The locker room doors, the rear door. As you can see, these locker room doors are very much beat up. To where, Ms. King, I'm sure you probably tested this, when it rains, I get water on my floor.
That's in the gym.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the,
Yes,
that's
that's
the
in the
back
gym area.
doors of the high school
That's the
gym.
back doors of
Where
the
we
high
went out
school
for
gym.
graduation.
Yep.
And as you can see how they're just very beat up. So this week, I got a couple of the gentlemen, Dave and Brian, we're gonna try to stop the water from coming into these. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna open them up, look at our seal, and do some resealing. So I'm gonna lift that whole top, I apologize, the whole bottom part of that door, we're gonna take that off and put a whole new piece there to see if we can at least combat the water from coming in there.
Like a new threshold.
Like
Yeah.
a sweep or something with it, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Because we already know what the gym floor is, I don't want to magnify it even more.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with
So one of the things that we're going to work on this week is trying to get that, sealed off pretty good to where,
Before you put the new gym floor
before we put on the gym.
Flex
floor,
seal.
thank you.
it. Flex seal,
Something.
flex seal.
Something to stop that water from, damaging that area, because what it does, it seeps down and then, so, and it's just not not going to be good at all. Plus the doors eventually will have to be replaced, that was also in the GISA study, for, energy savings and different things of that aspect, because air and moisture and all that stuff comes in and out of there, so we're losing, but that's part of the, also part of the study that was also set forth that Doug put together. The last thing, well, the thing before the last, is called the PolyX salt spreader. The reason why this is on the agenda is because it's a bigger salt spreader than what we have to cover a larger area when we have the bad weather. So it was something, this is more so a wish list for the boys, more so than anything. I told them I would throw it up there to be nice, but this is something that they requested due to the fact that they're constantly refilling. For instance, they'll go to the 4 or 5, that's where we refilled our salt at. So they'll go back there 3 or 4 times before they even finish the high school. And then we got another 4 more schools to worry about. To where that will hold more and just give, it's more of a time management. They would get done a little bit faster, and be able to move a little bit faster in a more of a timely manner. God forbid if we do have a huge blizzard or anything like that.
Price tag?
Yeah, this time?
I didn't
Yeah.
check on that yet. But
Okay.
the one that Doug had budgeted for, I did find that for 250 with the salt was 38,000. That was for the truck and the
I was
spreader.
gonna say.
That was for both. That wasn't just for one. But that was something that Doug was talking about for, this year going into next. I did find that, I'll share that with Dr. Allen a little bit later, because we was testing it, and I did find that. So that, like I said, that's more of a wish thing, but it's something, I just wanted to bring it up because it's something that maybe we wanted to look into due to time management, due to how big our school is, especially the high school, in the area that these guys cover when they're out there salting, shoveling, getting things prepared for the next day. And then the last thing is the use of Roundup and weed control district-wide. I'm sure we all had a little experience with the Roundup.
Yeah, this was the topic of an email exchange going on about the use of Roundup at one of our elementary schools for weed control by one of our contractors. And we put it on here because there was some concern. I mean, I know we talked to nausea about the communication piece to that. It's not what we're talking about. We're talking about now the use of Roundup. Maybe in my head buried in the sand, I know Roundup has had some challenges publicly or chemically or whatever the right terminology is. And so there's concerns about simply the saying Roundup, that there's cancer-causing agents or whatever the right thing is. So I don't know what's in there. That was one part of the question, was what was in there. Is it, I don't know if there's different formulas of Roundup. There was a question from one of the board members, like, can we just stop using Roundup? So,
Couple of them, actually.
right, I understand. That's why I put it on, to have the discussion. This is the right
Yeah.
place for that. If there was a contractor, again, for your first your first time through the summer there was signs up at the school saying we're spraying and all that good stuff. And the question was asked, what was being sprayed, and you had said Roundup, and that created the conversation, because there were some people that are not very fearful or not in tune.
Not fans of it.
But whatever, I don't,
Right.
again, I know it's still purchased at this store or that store, and I don't know if we dictate that with Moyer, or if that's what their product they use, or I'm sure being a vendor, we can tell them what to use when they have to pay more for it, but, so that's really why it's on here, just more of a conversation.
I spoke to, who cuts our lawn, Tidy. Tidy cuts our lawns, does our beds and our weeds. So when I was speaking to Tidy about it, and I asked him, I said, is there something else that we could, I wasn't a fan of the Moyer, Roundup situation, due to the fact that once we sprayed it, the weeds came right back.
Yeah, we had that trouble at home too.
And from what I hear, Doug said that, and also the predecessor before Doug had a problem with that as well. And we're spending close to about $3,200 to $3,300 for the service. So when I spoke to who cuts our grass and who does our weeds in our beds, and he said, Craig, you don't have to use that. It's a certain type of mulch that we can put down that will abate the weeds and keep them down. So he's gonna give me more information about that. I want him to email me about that information. Once I wanna read through it, because he said the mulch that we were using is pretty much of a cheaper version of the mulch. He says a better mulch that will obey the weeds. But like I was asking him before, that doesn't count for the parking lots and the different things of that aspect where the weeds come up.
Where the curbs come
Where
together.
the curb is
Yeah.
at. And then that's when he discussed it, he said, Craig, we'll just burn them off.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So, he said, you already had us do that this summer for the high school and different other places and for the Ed Center. He said, we can just keep that tree. And then that'll keep everything, basically level like the grass is. So when they're out there doing the grass and doing the weeds or picking, that's something that they will constantly do and maintain that and keep that manicured. So I told them, give me some more information. Of course, it's gonna be a number. Give me a number on it first, and then we can have that conversation in the future going into next year.
So this is a summer spraying type of situation?
Yeah, one time a year.
That's what's going on.
Okay.
And that's all I have for this evening.
That was a lot.
Oh,
That was really good. That was a lot.
I thought the last time was a
Yeah,
lot.
that was great. That was great.
If y'all get a chance, make sure you get to the high school, to the athletic wing, and see the hallway.
It looks beautiful.
That'd be great,
It looks beautiful.
And that looks great what you guys did with that placard there too, over there on that, going into that wrestling room over there. That looks nice when you're coming down the hallway, you see that.
Yeah.
That gives it a real good look.
Well, that's good.
That's right.
All right.
And the gym looks so much better with the new baskets.
Yeah.
Now,
Amazing
it
what some things can do.
looks up to date and, not from the 1970s.
Yeah,
It's a great time in the 70s.
right,
But that time is over.
Time got great.
All right, well, anyone have any, Keith have anything, Tag, anything?
No, it sounds like we've got things covered, the use of Roundup, there are a lot of people public that are against it now, they are linked to cancer causing studies, things like that, so, as far as generating goodwill with the public, it's a good move to move away from it, a healthy
Yeah.
move.
No problem.
There are other things that can be done, obviously Craig is already looking at that with our vendors, so, we'll just.
Yes, I
continue
thank you.
pursuing that.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. All right. Do you have any public comments? Bernie?
I have a couple things. There's the projected walk, macadam walk from the back of the softball backstop to Wall Road, is that correct? Is that where the caution tape is
The caution tape for.
when they finish the,
There's going to be a semi-permeable walkway. It's not going to be macadam. It's semi-permeable, the grass grows up through it, but it's a hard plastic piece to that
Okay.
walkway.
are the same people that did the irrigation doing that too, or is that
That's totally something.
somebody else?
Well,
No, it's all the same.
No, it's Stonewood, sir. Stonewood's the contractor who laid everything down, yes. So like Dr. Allen said, the grass is gonna grow over that, but you're gonna still see a nice little path there. So it's just gonna sit in there. That's a huge walking path that they put there.
Oh, is that why they have the caution tape then, so nobody walks
Yes,
on until
nobody
it
walks on,
generates
right.
itself?
Right, that's all seeded as well.
Okay.
So grass will grow through the grates. They're like metal grates.
Mhm.
Grass will go through there and it'll sit on there, and all you do is just keep it manicured.
You were talking about weeds. The drainage system in, I'm not sure, the front field, you see the weeds growing between the track and and the turf, right out of the system.
Oh,
The little grate at the very end, you know what I mean, that the water runs down and runs out to the retention basin?
detention.
Yeah.
The retention to this pond over there, the pond over there, and you said there's weeds beyond that?
No, in the stadium itself,
Okay.
on the perimeter of
The
the
baseball?
turf,
Okay.
where, between the turf and the track,
Okay.
that's where the weeds are growing, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that.
And we talked about handicap spots.
Yes.
I was looking, and from the last handicap spot to the post where you go down to the backfield, there's probably enough for two.
Yes.
You can either do two, or you can do one with a van and take that rest up to get out. But I don't see a lot of vans, so,
Yeah, we moved the vans to the back.
yeah.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I mean, people that come with vans for handicap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could fit two in there.
And I would like my name on one of those.
It's Peggy Cap.
And that's it.
Well, thanks, Bernie.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Questions, comments? Likewise? Okay. Well, in that case, I would ask. for-
Motion to adjourn?
Okay. Second.
A-G-L.
Yep, oh, we did it, we did it. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Go Eagles.
Yes.
And dinner.
School
Good, that's what I'm doing. I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'll bring it upstairs.
More than happy to entertain.
Thank you.